thinking about why I downloaded the music app Savan. Remember the feeling when you walk out of a movie during which you've heard a good song and you would want to hear it immediately? I remember trying to download songs and there was no platform or application on which I could immediately find that song of my choice. Savan has created the mechanism to effectively find or search a song based on the actor's name, movie name, and even the song's name. And I think that was a great value proposition. I wonder if the founders of Savan identified this market gap before launching this particular application, or was it just coincidence? Let us go ahead and understand what made Rishi Malhotra and his co-founders launch Savan.
The reason that Savan started, the genesis of Savan, is really the fact that we as co-founders are music lovers and music fanatics. You have to, be in love with the thing that is your business, otherwise it's never going to do well, even years down the road. And we happen to, as co-founders, grow up as North American South Asians. So we grew up listening to Indian music in the living room, and Led Zeppelin and Miles Davis and these things in our bedrooms. And what had happened was, as we sort of grew up and we saw music going digital, there was no digital India. There was no digital South Asian content. And here you have 1 billion plus people in the country that are music fanatics and music lovers, and it's in the bone. And you have some of the most brilliant indigenous content that's being made, and it was all analog. So the genesis, the kernel of Savan was, hey, let's take it all digital.
The founder of Savan was a music lover and grew up listening to Indian music. He saw that in Western countries, a lot of content, especially music, was going digital. But then he noticed that in a country of 1 billion people, where most of these people are music fanatics, music was not digital. And then he decided to act upon this pain point and took South Asian content digital on their online platform to fill up this gap in the market. The pain points we face in our daily lives, whether at work, at home, or in certain situations and under specific conditions, are often the best source of need gap identification for new venture ideas. A need gap is most of the times driven by these very simple pain points. Let's hear from Phanindra Sama of Redbus and Girish of Freshdesk to get an understanding of this.
In Diwali of 2005, when I went to book a ticket, he made a few phone calls to the bus operators and told me that there are no seats. And just when I was leaving his office, he told me that maybe another agent could get me a seat. And that really intrigued me. I was thinking, if this guy is an agent for bus tickets, he should know whether or not there's any seat which is going vacant from Bangalore to Hyderabad that evening. How is that that he's asking me to go to another travel agent? But anyway, I went to this other travel agent. After going to so many travel agents, I ended up being in Bangalore without getting a seat. But the next day when I woke up, I was feeling guilty. Because maybe if I had gone to a 10th travel agent, and maybe the 10th travel agent called the 30th bus operator, and maybe the 30th operator had a seat which went vacant from Bangalore to Hyderabad that evening, it was lost to that bus operator because there was a customer in some corner of the city, but he just didn't know about that customer. And it was lost to the 4 or 5 travel agents that I went to because they had a customer in front of them selling him a ticket. They could have made some money, but just didn't know which of these 30 operators to call. And it was a big loss to a consumer like me because I desperately wanted to be home for the festive season, but just couldn't be there. So I realized that all the 3 of us are losing because information of bus seats is not seamlessly available.
In 2009, I was moving back from the US to India, and so happened that I was shipping all my stuff back to Chennai, and 2 months later, my stuff arrived. My TV was broken. Now, I didn't actually worry about it too much because I had purchased insurance, so I thought it should be pretty straightforward to contact customer support and get my insurance money back. So long story short, it was like 28 email threads, multiple phone calls, submitting a ton of documentation, and 5 months of time had passed. But simply, I couldn't even know the name of the insurance company that had underwritten my insurance. So at that point, I was actually pretty frustrated. And I didn't care about my money anymore. I just wanted revenge. So I went online to a place called R2I Club Forums, which is Return to India Club Forum. People who move back from the US to India, I used that forum. So I went and actually posted my experience along with pictures of my broken TV. And surprisingly, the next day, the president of the company came and apologized, and the very next day, money was in my bank. What traditional channels of support like phone and email couldn't accomplish, I was able to get when I took my problem online. And then I started observing the other customers were also doing it. Like it was when I saw Twitter, like customers sharing their experiences on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. Now customer support had moved from being a one-to-one conversation between the customer and the company to customers talking about the company on social media. And I think that was when I realized that most of the tools are still focusing on traditional channels of support like phone and email. So I thought there is possibly opportunity for somebody like me who knows the market to build a next generation customer support software. And that's why we actually called it Freshdesk, as in Fresh Help Desk, which not only helps a company listen into customer support queries via phone and email, but also through new channels like a mobile app or Twitter or Facebook or blogs and so on.
So, how should one go about identifying the next stellar startup idea? Many people start and go through this process by spending their energy thinking about new and possible startup ideas. This is fundamentally wrong. Stop thinking about ideas. Rather, start thinking about real problems in your day-to-day life that need resolution. And every time you think of a problem, think about existing solutions, its possible alternative solutions, and who all it impacts. Ask yourself, who needs this right now? How badly do they need it? Will they buy it from someone they have never heard of? If you can't answer these questions favorably, or if the problem is such that its existing solution keeps people happy and they do not need or look for an alternative solution, then the problem may not be as significant enough for you to solve. So let's look at a startup to understand the importance of aligning your startup idea with the need gap. It's better to work on a problem that really exists.
We actually started off with a business called olatrip.com and pivoted that after 6 months into olacabs.com. And Olatrip was all about selling weekend holidays online, and it was from a personal pain point of not able to book holidays around major cities. That never went anywhere, but while doing that, we realized a further pain point of cab aggregation for hourly rentals or outstation travel. And that's how we changed from selling trips to selling, to building a website where you can book cabs for going outstation, let's say from Bombay to Pune or Delhi to Agra, etc. So that was the first, first portal we made, and then from there incrementally we kept learning more about the business, got deeper into transportation, learned about how big an opportunity urban transportation is to today, where our mission is to build mobility for all of India.
हाय, मेरा नाम हर्षा है। 2005 में मैंने इंजीनियरिंग ख़त्म किया और उसके बाद मैं 10 साल तक आईटी में इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में जॉब करता रहा। इंजीनियरिंग से मेरे दिमाग में लेकिन एक चीज़ था कि मैं कुछ वैल्यू ऐड नहीं कर रहा हूँ, यानी कि हालांकि मैंने इंजीनियरिंग किया लेकिन साइंस के प्रति साइंस मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझा नहीं था। मैंने रट्टा मारा, मैंने अपने एग्ज़ाम लिखे, मैंने डिस्टिंक्शन पास किया, लेकिन जो साइंस मुझे समझना चाहिए जिससे मैं देश के लिए कुछ कर सकता हूँ वो मैं नहीं कर पा रहा था। तो इसके लिए मुझे ऐसा चाहिए था कि ऐसा कुछ मैं करूँ अगली पीढ़ी के लिए, ताकि उनको साइंस रट्टा न लगे, उनको साइंस बाय हार्ट न लगे, उनको साइंस समझ में आए, जिसके लिए मैंने साइंस उत्सव स्टार्ट किया।
मेरे इंजीनियरिंग के 3rd ईयर में मुझे एक आइडिया आया कि मैं कुछ नया करूं, कि मैं कुछ बनाऊं ताकि मेरे प्रॉब्लम्स सही हो सकते हैं। तो मुझे लगा कि जो मेरे कॉलेज के इवेंट्स होते हैं वो सब जगह मुझे ढूंढना पड़ता है, मुझे जाके बुलेटिन बोर्ड्स में देखना होता है, फेसबुक पे देखना होता है। इतना अच्छा होगा अगर वो सारा इवेंट्स एक जगह पे मिल सकता है। तो ये मेरा स्टार्ट था कैंपस कनेक्ट का। फिर मैंने सोचा कि न्यूज़ एंड इवेंट्स के अलावा भी हम पढ़ने का मटेरियल और हम दूसरे छात्र से बात करने का मटेरियल हम यहाँ पे डाल सकते हैं, ताकि हमारा पूरा कैंपस एक्सपीरियंस एक तरीके से डिजिटल हो सकता है।
It sounds obvious to say you should only work on problems that exist. And yet, by far the most common mistake startups make is to solve problems no one has. For example, layoff space. a startup which was launched in April 2007 and positioned itself as a new social networking site for the recently unemployed. It was designed like MySpace and LinkedIn and a hybrid for the unemployed. Layoffspace.com aimed to use the social networking in finding jobs. Unfortunately, it failed as the founders failed to realize that people don't want to bond with someone online over shared unemployment. Another problem was no one wanted to openly accept that they were unemployed. To get startup ideas, start noticing yourself and people around you. Look out for the problems which you, your friends, or someone is facing regularly. Ask your friends, family, and colleagues what type of products they are looking for and what would solve the current problem. But what if you are working on a problem which your consumers did not even know that they have? This is exactly what happened to Drew Houston when he came up with the idea of Dropbox, a file hosting service started in 2007 that offers personal cloud, file synchronization, and cloud storage. The founders believed that file synchronization was a problem that most people didn't know that they had. And once they experienced the solution, they wouldn't be able to imagine how you ever lived without it. Dropbox wanted to validate this assumption. So they went about it in this way. They created a video that demonstrated the working of their product to gain insights from consumers and to avoid the risk of building a product nobody wanted. This simple video drove hundreds of thousands of people to their website, and their waiting list went from 5,000 people to 75,000 people overnight.